back to the Midnight Who Show! And I have just finished watching James Gunn's Superman film. I have been eagerly waiting to see this movie ever since it was first announced when James Gunn announced their whole slate of their new relaunch of the DCEU. I was excited, a bit nervous, but could not wait to see what they crafted. And I gotta say, I absolutely enjoyed this film. It is a comic book brought to life, and it's very comic booky. And I do think that'll work for some people and not for others. But for me, I enjoyed all of it. Now, this film finds Superman in a conflict between two nations. And they get involved in that. They stop one nation from invading the other. And this leads to a whole conflict of Superman's involvement and really who they stand for. It makes for a really good central message of basically Superman's just doing this for the good to help people and save people. They're not aligning themselves with, the US. It's a very great scene that leads into a really memorable interview between Lois and Superman. I really enjoyed that scene as it allowed the characters to breathe. We really get to see their personalities come through, and they don't rush through it. They spend a good amount of time on it, and you really can see how, for Clark, they're really conflicted because for them, they're just doing good. And I gotta mention, David Cornsweet is phenomenal as Superman. They just bring so much hope and optimism into this role. And I enjoyed every single scene that they were in. And I really enjoyed their interactions with the fellow heroes that we see in this film and Lois. It makes for some great moments. Nicholas Hoult is so good as Lex Luthor. They are so evil. This is a very evil Lex Luthor. And you really just to see how much they despise Superman and really the lengths that they will go to kind of orchestrate this war to get really Superman distracted. And I can't believe they create a whole pocket universe to trap their enemies in. That is just evil. And I really enjoyed how they were defeated at the end and how they reacted to that. Rachel Brosnahan is a great Lois Lane. I really enjoyed them. I think I cannot wait to see more of them in the future. And I gotta say, Jimmy Olsen in this film, really unexpected things that they did, but I really enjoyed it. Now, I think, is there any negatives? Not too many for me. This is near perfect. I will say it moves at a very fast pace. And that is kind of not good at times. You're going from one scene to one scene really quickly. So it does move a lot. They had that one scene that kind of allowed things to breathe a bit, but in reality, it doesn't always work. I will say some of the humor did not fully work for me. I'm really curious to see how people will react to Supergirl. They do appear in this movie at the end to pick up Krypto, and I don't know how people respond if they don't really know the comics. This is a very different, Kara. They're basically a party person. They're basically getting drunk. It's a different, version of Kara than a lot of people know. It's based on a comic, but did people read that? I am still very excited to see their movie, though, next year. I really enjoyed that run of comics. Let's talk Krypto. They steal the show. I really enjoyed Krypto. And you really can just see this dog that has superpowers and the dangers that can come from it. Now, we do, like I mentioned, get some other heroes in this film. And, oh man, Mr. Terrific is really well introduced. They picked a wonderful performer. And, yeah, I want to see the Terrific show now. I think they could really lead that. They really have some great scenes in this film. Guy Gardner. Wow. Good choice. Nathan Fillion just brought this character to life really well. And I think this is a good, version of that character. It's definitely what I think of when I think of seeing Guy Gardner. And boy, they capture that kind of just a-holeness. And of course, Hawkgirl, I will say, is probably my least favorite part of, the whole Justice Gang. But I still enjoyed their character. I really like that hawk cry that they did. And there's some really good flying scenes. And there's a new member of the Justice Gang, Metamorpho. I don't think they're the memorable part of this film, but I absolutely enjoyed that we got to see this character, and it was very clever for Lex to kind of manipulate them to use their powers to make kryptonite. Pretty clever on Lex. I guess the only other things I can mention is the Fiat Vex. They're okay. They're fine. It's kind of like modern comic books. Some things are really okay, and some you notice, but not really that bad. I think James Gunn did okay with them, when in the final cut. I really enjoyed the flying scenes with Superman. Those were really good. But yeah, this was just a really well done film. James Gunn, I think, has a really good solid start for the DCEU. I don't think it's the perfect film. There's still those moments with the pacing and a few bits of the humor, which honestly this film didn't really feel humorous to me. There's those little moments, but not too much. But I think it's a solid enough start that I think is going to get people excited for the future. And we'll see what happens. But for me, I cannot recommend this film enough. It was enjoyable. I had a blast watching it. And it makes me excited to see more DC films in the future. What did you all think of this film? Let me know in the comments below. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye, everyone.